This is the fourth turning. You're familiar with the fourth turning, right? Fourth turning? No?
No.
Don't ring a bell? So, you know, it's the 4 seasons every 80 years. There's
yes, okay, yeah.
Every 20 years you have a cycle.
Yes, yeah.
All right, so for those that aren't familiar,
I forget there's a historian.
Strauss-Howe generational theory.
Yeah.
And so you've got the different seasons within it. There's 4 periods. They're about 20 years long each. This is what we're seeing right now with what you refer to as the paradigm shift, right? Mm-hmm. Like your mom was counterculture, opposing the major corporations. Now the generation today, the young generation, is pro-corporate. Mm-hmm. Amazon's got their Black Lives Matter logo, you know, Netflix, all these big. There's a video game. I can't remember what video game it was. It opened up and it said Black Lives Matter. The attacking the establishment has become the establishment in a very weird way. But this is why I say it's the fourth turning. When you had a youth, you had a culture of young people growing up being told to fight the power, you know, fight the system, fight the man. Then when they all become adults and inherit the power, their worldview is still fight the power. Mm-hmm. So now they're in power, telling everyone to fight the power, which leads us to the fourth season, the fourth turning. The great conflict is if you take an entire generation and tell them the system is broken and corrupt and you must fight back, they inherit the power and then start ripping it to shreds and gutting it. Yeah, you're gonna get a crisis. Imagine you're driving in a car and some dude's actively like punching holes in the floor and trying to, you know, jam things against your drive shaft or something. You're gonna crash.
But I think if we live in a flourishing, fully functioning society, then we actually raise people who are critical thinkers, who are able to, you know, shed their old self and see, you know, a new truth or change their perspective as they get older. But and just like my mom did, and you know,
sure.
And now she's
but did she really?
Well, I think she did. You know, I think she had a certain way of viewing politics in the last 5 years that she's certainly changed. I mean, maybe as a byproduct of like being, you know, me being her son, and my younger brother like caught her on like a work Zoom meeting, like, yeah. So everybody knows that. You know, so it's all just media narratives, and he's like, whoa, mom, you can't, come on, like this is not for Zoom calls.
I love
it. It is though.
My son told me this.
So it really is. It's like, you know, hard times make strong men, strong men make good times weak men hard times, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Because you have this period of like, you know, look, the boomers, man, what were they? They were like hippies and protesters, and now they're all leading these big corporations. And what happened? You know what I mean? How have you seen SLC Punk? That movie? Mm-mm. Have you seen SLC Punk, Ian?
No.
Oh, come on, you guys.
What's it about?
It's about this guy in Salt Lake City. He's a punk, and then it ends with him like wearing a suit, and like at a certain point, people accept the establishment. And you know, it's really interesting to see how generations play a role in this. The children of the boomers, the echo boomers or the millennials. I like that word, echo boomer. People don't call millennials echo boomers though. They inherited a lot of the anger and rage of the fight the man, F the system from their boomer parents. So they grow up with that instilled completely in them. And then when they inherit the system, the moment they do, they start doing all sorts of wacky, broken, effed up BS.
Yeah, but so here's my question, is if everything that you're saying about, like, why is fighting the system now supporting Joe Biden? Like, where did Bernie go?
That's a great question.
So that's
Bernie joined
here's my
them.
point is, how did that like revolutionary movement get completely hijacked and now like the wool is over everybody's eyes, or are people actually awake to this and it's just our media is far removed from the way that, you know, everyone's like, wait a second,
dude. Collectivism. I don't know. It's a weird I think it's an amalgam of the generation assumes the power and becomes the establishment, while telling everyone to fight the establishment, not realizing it's them. Mm-hmm. And so then they target the not establishment. Like Republicans have states. That's what they have. They control, 36 states or something like that. That's not the power paradigm to a certain extent. I mean, it's powerful having that many states. If they get, I think, 2 more states or whatever, then they can have a constitutional convention. But for the most part, in this country, universities, movies, video games, federal level politics, the Democrats,
social media too. I mean,
social media, it's all left. It's all progressive.
And that's what ultimately compels people to make decisions in their reality. Like government is one thing, and you make a very concerted, you know, decision, very like you go to the polls to vote for this person because I ideologically think this. But in terms of like, I have a friend who I'm not going to name, similarly to why you wouldn't, but he has a wedding of his best friend's brother in Canada. Right? And it's coming up. And it's like, should I get vaccinated just to go to the wedding? Because my buddy's going to be sad if I don't. And everybody at that wedding is going to say, where is he? You know? oh, he's not here because he doesn't have the vaccine. He couldn't get over the border.
Social pressure.
And so then it's social pressure that's compelling you to make a medical decision.
And that's the problem I have with it. You know, and that specific subject, like, you got to talk to your doctor, man. Like this
He did, and yeah, it's doctor. Well, I'm not going to say what his doctor said. He made his decision, but that's what I told him. All his friends were saying something different.
Did he end up going?
I think what's going to happen, and I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure. He's going to try to go without the situation, and see what happens.
Your doctor might tell you, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, look, you talk to a doctor and they might actually tell you. You might be surprised. I can't believe there's so many people who don't trust their doctors. To be completely honest.
Well, exactly. Well, here's the amount of people that are telling that individual, yo, like, I can't believe that you would do that. You know, because it's a personal medical decision that he's making, and it's becoming this like, you're a bad person because you're doing that.
Yeah, when they talked about
it's like the collective. Oh, what about everybody else?
With this genocide thing, splitting people into groups, I was thinking about the vaxxed and the non-vaxxed as opposed to the pronouns.
Yes.
The vaxxed and the non-vaxxed.
And it's not just maggots and,
like,
and
what,
liberals or whatever.
Like, they're like, did you get the vaccine? Yeah, what vaccine? Well, for what? Don't be so general. Don't be so tongue-in-cheek.
There's a funny crossover there between like the granola major lefties who are anti-vax for a certain reason.
Right. The hippie crystal wearing ones.
Yeah, exactly. And so like it's a weird, like, the Marianne Williamson supporters.
Oh, people that want to live naturally, and then the people that actually are afraid of the vaccine are like different types of people.
Growing up, anti-vaxxers were lefties, right?
Left libertarians, man. This is what I can't stand when I go on political compass memes on Reddit. Mm-hmm. You ever see it? It's a great subreddit, by the way. It's really funny. Political compass memes, because they rag on everybody, but they keep claiming the libertarian left is Antifa and woke, and I'm like, that's not what the libertarian left is. The woke Antifa left are authoritarians who want to beat people. I mean, there was a video that was posted by Ford Fisher where there were guys outside of like a medical facility, and they were anti-mask. They were like, don't wear masks. And Antifa showed up and started beating them for not following state guidelines. That is not left libertarian. Left libertarians are like Marianne Williamson. They insult her. They called her the woo-woo crystal lady, and she was like, I don't have crystals. But you want to know what left libertarian is? It is the hippies who are like, I eat tree bark because it cured my skin rash or whatever. Like, they're the hippies, the weirdo, the crystal wearing, and look, Luke, we love Luke, but he wears crystals too, and he's like an ANCAP.
Your bones are made of crystal hydroxyapatite.
Your bones are made of graphene.
Ian's maybe. Let's go deeper. The point is, left libertarians are these people. And the reason why they're adamantly opposed is for personal decision reasons for the most part, but they get mocked as kooky and crazy. And what's funny is whenever I bring up I was talking to a lefty friend of mine about lefty conspiracies, and of course I mentioned Russiagate and Ukraine Gate and all this stuff, and they're like, well, I don't know, man. Well, we'll see. That's still out. We'll see what that.
Yeah, we're waiting for the Mueller report to drop.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, but they think that like Mueller will be revealed, and I'm like, bro, this is blue anon level stuff. And then when I mention the lefty anti-vax people, which were like the preeminent anti-vaxxers to begin with, they're like, that's not true. Those people aren't left wing. And I'm like, have you talked to them? Yeah. They are like as lefty, commune, hippie, flower wearing as you can get.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the, basically like this weird progressive support for the police state and like the intelligence state. And it's like, yo, I grew up anti-Bush, anti-Iraq war, and as a result, like anti-Patriot Act, and like if like I were a true lefty, I'd be supporting like the CIA right now. Like, what?
We just watched Southland Tales. You ever see it?
No.
It was made in what year was it? 2007?
I don't know.
It's I think 2007, maybe 2006, and it was made by the guy who did Donnie Darko. And it's like, man, you guys got to check this movie out, because it was written about a future, not too distant future, where like a nuclear war happens, and then you've got the Republicans who expand the Patriot Act, and the Democrats who have like there's like the rise of the neo-Marxist movement. It's just really fascinating to watch a movie from the mid 2000s to see where the liberals thought our society would go. Because boy, were they wrong. They were like, the Republicans were going to become, authoritarian, expanding the Patriot Act, all that stuff. And instead, what do we get? We got the reality TV star real estate guy who calls a woman horseface on Twitter. Like, certainly not the same. He won't even call in the police to deal. He won't call in federal the Insurrection Act to deal with riots. In that movie, they actually had like special forces that were just shooting Marxists. Like, that's what these people thought was going to happen back then. Didn't happen.
So I got to ask, in this movie, was a Republican the president or was a Democrat the president? Because Obama was elected and then everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great thing.
I can't remember. I'm not a big fan of the movie, to be quite honest. I was like kind of half watching it, but it very much so. Like, it's got a ton of people. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, Justin Timberlake's in it, The Rock's in it.
Weird.
Yeah. Sean William Scott, is that his name? He's in it.
Yeah, Stifler.
Idiocracy is probably more prophetic than.
Definitely.
That.
Yeah, Idiocracy for sure.
You know, it's actually a great book that it was actually the last book that my dad ever gave me before he passed. Yeah, sorry, but it's significant in that respect because it's called Arrogance, and it's Bernard Goldberg, and it's the sequel to Bias. But basically, the subhead for that book is rescuing America from the media elite.
Oh wow!
And in that book, what he predicts is, at that time in 2003, I think it was written, the nightly news was getting like 25 million views per broadcast. And he's like, that is all going to crumble. And as it crumbles, they'll be trying to cling to control of the narrative. And I mean, that's really what we're witnessing. I mean, papers and, the nightly news, cable news, it's all collapsing, and they have to just, trump up ratings.
I mentioned this 6 years ago because the CEO of Vice said there was going to be a bloodbath in digital. He was like, it's not going to last. And the reason for it, in my opinion, was that a lot of these digital news outlets were doing this trick called, it was called like ad rights assignments, something like that. Here's what they would do. You'd make a website, and we'll call it like superawesomenews.com or whatever. Well, I shouldn't actually say a word. We'll call it, just xnews.com. Wait, that's actually probably a name of a news organization.
I'm pretty sure that is, yeah.
Hypothetical, non-existent news organization.
Perfect.
And let's say it gets 10 million views per month. They want to sell ads, but that's not a whole lot of traffic.
Yeah.
What they do is they license the rights to views from click farms. So you'll get, a generic click farm website that will be like, look at all these pictures of, Tom Cruise like smiling. And then it'll say like 25 photos of crazy celebrity photos. And every time you click one, it makes you reload a new page. Because that turns one article into 25 pages, 25 page views.
Dude, it's like...
Then, here's what happens. The news organization then buys the rights to those views and claims there are views. And all of a sudden now, this small news outlet is getting 100 million views per month.
That's crazy.
So he was saying there's going to be a bloodbath. I said, these companies don't realize they're on the way out. And their views, even cable TV, are going down, down, down every day. I know we saw a big spike because of Trump, but it's going down. They're bleeding. It's consolidating in a lot of ways. But it's like in order for the New York Times to survive, it must create more entropy around it than it negates. To put it this way, you might have 100 million subscribers to news outlets nationwide through all the different local outlets. But most people are canceling those subscriptions, and the New York Times is picking up only some of them. Everyone else is getting news for free from rage bait trash. So the New York Times might see its subscribers go up a few million as the country sees total subscriptions go down. They're going to lose their influence. They're going to make good money, and they're going to start thrashing about violently once they realize they're drowning. It's like when someone starts suffocating and they start just violently flailing and freaking out. That's what we're going to see from the media.
Yeah, but
that's what we are seeing.
It's like if it's a boat that's sinking and they're looking around the ocean, all desperately scanning the horizon. They see far up in the distance some chaos. They zoom in on it, they copy it, and then they blast it out on the airwaves over and over and over again. It's this tiny dot in the far distance in one direction, but they're making it seem like it's the center focus.
Exactly. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.